Overproduction invites more waste because it hides problems beneath a veil of inventory. Just kind of sit with that quote for a second. In manufacturing, we usually think of having a little extra stock as a safety net, right? Like a comfortable buffer against the unexpected, machine breakdowns, people calling in sick, whatever. But what if I told you that this exact instinct is actually masking deeper systemic issues in your operations? That veil of inventory, it's not protecting you, it's literally blinding you.
Welcome, everyone. Today, we're taking a hammer to what the pioneers of the Toyota production system consider the absolute most destructive inefficiency in manufacturing. We're talking about overproduction, often called the mother of all wastes, or wastage number 2 in classical lean frameworks. I'm super excited to guide you through this explainer because once you see exactly how this villain operates and how it multiplies, I guarantee you're never going to look at your production lines or your inventory the exact same way again.
Okay, let's just dive right into our roadmap. We'll be looking at the ultimate manufacturing waste, the toxic multiplier effect, pushing versus pulling, pacing with takt time, mapping the value stream, and finally, sustaining lean efficiency.
Let's kick things off with Section 1, the ultimate manufacturing waste, unmasking the villain.
So, what do we actually mean when we say overproduction? It's simply the act of producing way too much or producing it way too early, completely regardless of actual customer demand. Now, in a traditional mindset, keeping those machines running nonstop at full capacity, well, it feels like efficiency, doesn't it? It feels highly productive. But in lean manufacturing, making items before they're actually ordered isn't some safe buffer. It's the absolute worst kind of waste. I mean, think about it. It eats up your capital, ties up your raw materials, and locks your labor into a product that might literally just sit on a dusty shelf, or worse, become totally obsolete before you can even sell it. Moving right along to Section 2, the toxic multiplier effect, spawning inefficiency. Now, what's really wild to see is the cascading damage here. Overproduction isn't just a single problem. It acts as a toxic multiplier for almost every other type of waste. Like, it triggers excess inventory a staggering 95% of the time. When you overproduce, you immediately have to find a place to stash all that extra stuff, which forces you into unnecessary transport, renting storage space, and all this extra handling. But honestly, even more insidious is that 80% mark for hiding downstream defects. Remember that opening quote about the veil of inventory? If your machines are just churning out parts, a defect could easily happen on a Monday, but because of the massive stockpile sitting between stations, the next operator might not even discover that bad part until, Thursday. Overproduction is actively sabotaging your ability to detect and fix quality problems in real time.
All right, Section 3, pushing versus pulling, the strategic shift.
So here we have a fundamental clash of operational philosophies. It's the core battle in lean. On one side, you have the push system. This is manufacturing based on a fixed schedule or a forecast, just completely divorced from the immediate realities on the floor. If one downstream machine has trouble and goes down, the upstream machines, they just keep cranking out parts and pushing them forward, creating this chaotic, massive backup. Now, on the flip side, we have our solution, the pull system. This is a highly regulated, disciplined approach where production is strictly limited, exclusively to the parts demanded by the very next downstream process. It's simple. You do not make a single item until the next step in the chain explicitly asks for it.
And this brilliantly illustrates exactly how a pull system works in the real world, using an incredibly relatable analogy, a vending machine. I mean, think about your last trip to a vending machine. You, acting as the customer, walk up and you pull the exact item you want in the exact quantity you want, exactly when you need it. The supplier, the person who actually stocks the machine, doesn't just blindly shove 50 candy bars into a slot that only holds 10, right? They look at a visual signal, the empty slot, and they replace only what was taken. In manufacturing, we use visual signals called Kanbans to communicate this demand. The upstream station is your supplier, and the downstream station is your customer. If there's no empty slot, meaning absolutely no Kanban signal, there is no production. It is elegantly simple, and it's powerfully effective at stopping overproduction dead in its tracks.
Next up, Section 4, pacing with takt time, restricting the speed. To truly eliminate overproduction, you have to precisely control the speed of your operations. See, true efficiency isn't about running your machines as fast as physically possible. It's about matching the exact heartbeat of customer demand, and we call this heartbeat takt time. The math is pretty straightforward, really. You take your total time available for manufacturing and you divide it by the average quantity required by the customer. So, for example, if your customer needs 100 parts today and you have 400 minutes of available machine time, your takt time is exactly 4 minutes per part. The ultimate goal here is to balance every single workstation so they maintain a continuous, even production rate. Because if a station runs faster than takt time, they're overproducing and creating waste. If they run slower, they're falling behind. Takt time restricts your speed to exactly what is necessary.
Let's move to Section 5, Mapping the Value Stream, Finding Where Waste Hides. Let's see how this builds into a complete, transparent picture of your operations. Value stream mapping, or VSM, is how you track the flow of both materials and information. Step 1, you must always start with the end client. Always. Then, step 2, you actually work backward through the production process. Now, why backward? Well, because you want to trace the actual pull of the customer through every single stage of production. Step 3 involves recording specific cases of waste, especially our main villain, overproduction, as you physically walk the floor. And finally, step 4, you construct a structured methodology to eliminate them. By working right alongside your frontline staff, you can identify exactly where parts are piling up and design a future state where the flow is smooth, steady, and continuous. And finally, Section 6, Sustaining Lean Efficiency, the just-in-time philosophy. Achieving true just-in-time delivery requires perfect harmony. You're constantly synchronizing two really vital flows: the physical flow of material moving forward toward the customer, and the flow of information, those Kanban signals we talked about, moving backward to your suppliers. When you achieve this harmony, you produce just the necessary parts, in the necessary quantity, at the necessary time, using the absolute minimum resources. That is the true essence of lean. It entirely strips away that veil of inventory we talked about at the very beginning of this explainer. And when the veil is finally gone, your real operational problems are exposed, allowing your teams to actually solve them and build a highly resilient, high-performing process. So, as we wrap up this explainer, I really want to leave you with a provocative question. Take a hard look at your own operations tomorrow morning. Ask yourself, is your business producing true value for the end customer? Or are you simply producing excess inventory just to keep your machines busy? Think about the hidden costs, the masked downstream defects, the wasted motion. By shifting from a push mentality to a Kanban pull system, pacing strictly to takt time, and utilizing resource tools like value stream mapping, you absolutely can defeat the mother of all waste. I really hope this explainer has given you the structured clarity and the tools to start rethinking your entire production strategy. Keep learning, keep improving, and I'll catch you next time.